Hi everybody and happy Christmas to you all. It's Claire back with a Christmassy art journal page. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen a reel from this journal page, but I thought I'd share it here as well. Because obviously this is a much slower version, as I know lots of people are not keen on the reels because they are a bit sped up. So yeah, this is the journal page using some of Dina's transparencies to create baubles. So I did a similar page using some Scrap FX ones as well. It's a similar idea to that really, but just using someone else's products. So I've started off using sage and fir, and I'm just using the technique where I've got a dry brush, pick up the colours and then just swipe them across the page. You can see here, because I've got a very dry brush, it's creating that kind of bit of nice texture on my page. That's someone else's arm. I haven't grown a third arm there all of a sudden. I think that was one of my children stealing something from my art supplies. It always comes back though, so I don't mind sharing. It's okay. So here I am starting to add some paint onto these pieces of transparency that I've cut out. I started off sponging the paint on because I thought that would be quite a nice way to get some paint on. I'm using metallic paint, so I think for this I used what's it called, Rosy, Sterling, and what was the other one called? Maybe Gilt. I think it was Gilt or Penny. I'm not sure. One of those ones. And then I figured out that actually brushing the paint on, just kind of doing like a swipe across with the brush, created a much nicer covering of paint onto the transparency, much thicker. And yeah, you can see that it's a much nicer way to get the paint on. You can see the paint better through the transparency as well. So that was kind of the technique that I went for after I gave up with sponging the paint on, because it was just a bit too see-through. So kind of felt that brushing it on was a better way to go. And then I'm just trying to see whether this gilt one, would that be better? No, it's definitely. Look, you can see, can't you, straight away? It's just so much better to brush it on. Yeah. So this is one of the things that I love about, one of many things I love about art journaling, is the fact that you can just try different things out. It's that what if? What if I sponge it on? Will it work? What if I brush the paint on? Will that work? And it's just like trying those different things and just seeing what is most effective. So here I've sponged a bit of paint on first to get a little base layer, and then gone in with the paint after. Just managing to get a really nice thick layer on those transparencies. So one thing I then realised was that actually while the paint was wet, it'd be really easy to just stick these straight in, because the acrylic paint will act as a glue. And I've got to be honest, they are so far still stuck in place. They haven't come off. So this even saved getting any adhesive out of any sort. So yeah, a nice thick application of paint on the back of these transparencies worked really well, not only for the opacity of the colour and the paint on the back, but also made a brilliant glue. So all I did was just pop these in place where I wanted them to be, and the glue stuck them down. So I'm trying to just get different levels here, because obviously these are going to be baubles hanging down, and then I'm using my Posca pen and just going in and adding some strings. I always find this quite difficult, drawing that straight line when you know it's got to be reasonably straight. It's really, the pressure's on, isn't it? It's really quite difficult. I don't really like using a ruler in my art journals, so I guess unless I was drawing boxes and I wanted them evenly spaced. But even then you could do that with washi tape. So yeah, drawing those the strings, and then I'm just doing some loose scribbly lines around the edges of the circles, the transparencies that are stuck in. It's really funny though, isn't it? So when the transparencies first came out, and obviously I'd been using them from Scrap FX as well, I was really not sure about them, whether I liked them in my journals or not. And now I absolutely love them. I think it's that funny thing of doing something new and different, sometimes it's a bit like, well, I haven't done it like this before. I'm not sure I like it. But actually giving it a try and using them, I love the fact that it adds a different dimension to my journal pages. You've got that little bit of, the way that the light catches them. There's so much you can do with them as well. They're so great for tip-ins. They're great for stapling into pages, into cutouts, adding on to... Oh my gosh, there's just so much you can do. So now I'm a real big lover of these transparencies. I think they're fabulous. So this stencil is one from the Inner Line stencil that I chopped into pieces, and I'm using some magenta with a blending tool. This is the Marks stencil, and here I'm just using, I think I've got carnation, and just using some of the different stencil patterns there just to build up more interest in that background, working my background around what I've put on the page already. Okay, so then I decided I wanted to go in with some collage tissue paper. So this is some of the text collage tissue paper. I guess I could as easily just used a text stamp and stamped that onto my page. But I think I do love how this collage paper looks when it's added on top of a journal page as well. And it's just another way to help break up that background again. So then I am using some of the leftover carnation paint and just adding some splatters. So again, that's another way just to break up that background and add a bit more interest there too. And I do like adding splatters. And as you know, I've found that the smaller the fan brush, the more controlled I can be. The less likely I am to splatter my clothes. I have so many clothes that are covered in bits of paint or gesso, even matte medium. And I have tried wearing an apron, but I'm at that time in my life where I have a certain warm core temperature and I don't really need an extra layer of clothing on at the minute. So I just find that I get too hot if I wear an apron. So yeah, I just have to go with the flow, the fact that some of my clothes are painty. It doesn't matter. So here I'm just adding some little doodles to the top of the page. I just felt the top of the page was a little bit empty, and I kind of feel that just breaks that up a bit. So this is the Ransom alphabet from Darkroom Door, and here I'm just using an acrylic block, and I'm going to stamp out the words Merry Christmas onto some printer paper and then stick that onto my page. So I'm going to take this opportunity to say thank you to you all very much, to my subscribers and people that have subscribed to my website. You have no idea how much I appreciate you all. I appreciate your support, your lovely comments that you write, the fact that you take time to comment on videos too. It means a lot and I really do appreciate it. And as a thank you, I will be adding a free course to my website over the next few days. Hopefully that will be up before the new year. And like I say, it's a nice little course where you learn to make some really pretty hanging art that you can keep in whatever art space you have in your home. So here I'm just using the little signature dot stamp that came from my first release from Funky Fossil. There will be a new release coming from Funky Fossil on the 29th of December, coming very, very soon. So watch out for that. There's some more stamps, stencils, and even some collage paper as well. So it's very exciting. So again, thank you very much for all your support over this last year. I hope you have a lovely Christmas wherever you are and whoever you're with, whatever you're doing. Have a lovely Christmas. Take some time to relax, maybe to be arty. I don't know. Anyway, thank you again for watching, and I hope you found some inspiration, and I hope to see you again soon.